This episode of Twin Speaks contains...
One thing I thought was confusing about this, that card that we have there with all the butts on the island, is that you can't see any of their dongs hanging down.
No, so they have tiny dongs.
So they might all have tiny dongs. You can't see any of them. You think Hulk would have a monster, like a python.
Yeah. Or
This is how we're opening.
Or they have them all maybe they have them tucked. Like, you know how you would tuck them into your waistband?
Oh, yeah.
If you had a boner, maybe they all had boners, so it's either straight out in front of them, or they've all taped them to their stomachs.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they're all boners.
Yeah.
So it's all just straight ahead.
Yeah, perpendicular to them. That's why you can't see anyone.
Yeah,
or
maybe.
they've all lost them.
They've all been decapitated.
Yep.
What's that called? They're what's that?
Castrated.
No, but what's the one from Game of Thrones? Eunuch. They're all eunuchs.
Is that what it is? I didn't even know.
That was the one guy's name, right?
I don't know.
That's what they were
Honestly,
called?
I don't remember. I don't remember at all.
Eunuchs. It says something like that. I don't know. If you were to rate them by dong size.
How I would think, how big I think they would be.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There is a car. We're not looking. It's of butts too.
Okay, it's Spider-Man, Hulk, Batman, Captain America, and then Superman in the first row. I think Hulk, Superman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Nah.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
Is he trying to get out?
No, he's right there.
No.
He's hanging out.
Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman, and yeah. You want to give yours and then I'll rationalize later?
Yeah.
Just do the first row.
Hulk, Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman.
Now, are you basing this off of the actors that they're...
No.
You're just saying
character.
as a character?
Yeah.
I think Batman's the smallest, obviously, because he's clearly compensating for something
Yeah, right.
by what he's doing. And then I think then after that, it's just gradually. I think Hulk and Superman are the same size.
What?
Yeah, I think Superman's packing heat.
I would say...
And then Captain America, normal human. Although he did take this, that super soldier serum, so maybe that helped.
That's what I was thinking.
Is that he
And
somehow
then I
made
think
it
Spider-Man's
bigger?
just
I mean,
average.
all of his other muscles got bigger.
Yeah. So is
Maybe.
the hog
And
got
then
bigger
Spider-Man
too?
also just super.
I think he's just average. Unless it's
Maybe
messed up looking now.
Yeah, maybe it's like a spider dick. They never go into that. He has other spider abilities. Maybe it's a spider penis.
What's a spider
penises? I
penis
don't
look
know.
like? Not much. What's a spider penis with you?
Doesn't
Anyways.
work like that. Spider dick.
No. There's no such thing.
Oh, they have a detachable penis.
Detachable?
Gross. Maybe
see.
it has no, I'm not. I didn't look up a picture.
You didn't look up a picture. This video of someone fighting at the Olivia Rodrigo
Yeah, you said that
just keeps
before we
playing.
started. I don't know what
gotta-
that means.
I gotta look at something else.
I don't even know who Olivia Rodrigo
Yes, you do.
is. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
What's that one song? That's that song.
I don't know what that is.
Like a damn sociopath. I'm surprised nobody commented that on here. Alright, well, I'm not putting this away.
I'm getting paranoid. I was you know how sometimes you get those texts from Google and it's hey, you gotta change your password or something like that. I got one the other day. It was hey, you gotta update your phone number
Oh, yeah?
to your account. I was okay.
Yeah.
So I did, and then now I'm paranoid that something's happened. So I'm just logging myself out of every account that I have.
Yeah, but isn't that
not
just
on my phone?
Isn't that just a security thing? It's
I think
you gotta
so.
update your phone number so that if something happens, then they ask you what your phone number is, and then you type it in, and they're yeah, it is you.
Yeah, but I was more just concerned.
Just in general, you're becoming paranoid.
Yeah. I'm at school. There's a lot of people there. I don't know. Maybe they got into I don't know.
The shared Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I paid for an antivirus. It was like $2 a year.
Oh shit! Which one? Don't
Avira.
say
Avira.
Avia.
Not Avia. There's an R. It's not an L.
Oh, that's how they pronounce it.
Avia. Yeah, I know. Avia.
Didn't we do accents on the last one? Too?
Yeah, it's a staple of this podcast. We are doing
Dawn of the Dead.
the second in the James Gunn-athon.
Yes. Finally.
After weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to see when I posted this tweet.
Yeah.
Because we both just fell off the face of the earth.
But, I mean,
we both had things going on.
to be fair, there was things going on. You started school. Mom was in town.
Yeah.
Kaylee moved here.
And then you had...
So we had shit going
your
on.
own thing.
Had to go out of town.
28th of August. It's almost been...
Almost a month.
It's
Not
almost
quite.
been a month. Yeah,
Quite, not
it's
quite.
almost been a month.
It was pretty close.
Anyway, so
Well,
we're doing it now. That's all that
We're
matters.
doing it now. We're trying to get the other one going too.
Talking about penises.
Talking about
Superheroes.
penises. So we're doing Dawn of the Dead, the second one from James Gunn-athon. What did you think of it?
Why would you ask me as I took a drink of water, you dickhead?
Because I wanted the no space, just empty air, no air.
And?
That was space.
Did you hear any of it?
No.
McLuggan. last time I was drinking something on this, I could hear it when I re-listened to it. And I don't listen to these at all ever, but I was like trying to get a clip.
Because we were having coffee that day.
Yeah, and every once in a while you could just hear.
Yeah. Which I'm a little more aware because I have a beer this time.
So you're really leaning back away from the mic.
I'm like Ricky Gervais.
Just what?
I don't know. He's drinking a beer at the Emmys or something.
Oh. Was
He goes, yeah.
I'm drinking a beer at the Emmys.
That's yeah. It's like he's
Look at
casual.
me.
It's
Yeah.
like nah. This is all predetermined.
Is it predetermined or pre-planned?
Pre-planned.
Yeah, predetermined
he thought
would be
about it
like
before.
faith, and that's something I don't think he has. Notorious atheist, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
I did not. Well, it's fine. This movie was fun. I think it definitely comes across as like an indie movie.
You just got to point that a little bit more at yourself. Yeah, that's fine.
It seems like more of an indie movie than it does anything else. It just is like some of the CG, like all the zombies look really great
Yeah, they do.
and gross. And like one of the first ones you see is like the kid in the parents' room, but then also like later you see that one-armed one
Oh, yeah.
that like sprints at them as they're
Yeah.
trying to get into the mall the first time.
Yeah.
And like a lot of it looks really good, but then there's some CGI that's like really weird in this. Like there's a point where they're walking to the mall and the parking lot's empty, but you can clearly see that the parking lot's been CGI'd
Yeah.
to be empty.
Yeah.
Because
They
it
just
looks
run
so
through
weird.
a bunch of cars or whatever. Yeah.
But I think like overall it was fine. I think like some of it's real slow and boring. We talked about this. It's kind of neat to see some of these actors in this, like the guy who plays Phil Dunphy.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what his name is.
Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell. He's in this.
His name's I don't even remember what his name is in this.
Steve.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And then
Ving Rhames.
Vin Rhames is in this.
He's
RIP.
great. I would say he was him and the guy who plays Michael.
Wait, Vin Rhames isn't dead.
No, he's not dead.
I definitely thought he died. But he's great in this. I love him in this.
Yeah, he's
Michael's the Best Buy guy, right? No. Which
yes.
one's...
Yeah. TV guy.
Right.
I thought he was great.
What's he done?
Sorry?
Has he done, like, anything?
So you know what's funny? There was a bit, and I said to George, there's a bit I was watching it, and he's got kind of like this like lower like register voice. He's kind of, well, he's obviously like sort of doing that, putting it on, but then there was like a bit where his inflection changed. He just said something like some word or sentence or whatever, and he kind of had, and I was like, oh, he's doing an accent. And then I looked it up and he's British. And I was like, oh.
I didn't realize that until right now. But, like, there are definitely moments where he's speaking and it's like he's definitely trying to, like, lower it.
Yes.
Or he's, like,
a bit of a whisper.
trying to control it
to get
more.
away with it.
Was he in Medium?
Yeah.
I think that's where I recognize him from, which is hilarious.
I looked it up before, too. And he was in, there was something else he was in, too.
Cool.
But yeah,
Ving Rhames, yeah. I thought he was great. Ving Rhames was like really good.
The actor who played Anna, she was great.
Yep, she's good. The guy who plays CJ, who is in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in like Now You See Me, Everest, The Adjustment Bureau, Chronicle.
Oh, yeah.
House of Cards.
He always kind of plays
Jack
the
Ryan.
same sort of guy.
Yeah, he does play similar characters. I think he's different in this. I think
he changes.
He changes. He's like he adjusts through the movie.
Yeah.
I think like all the acting's fine. Ty Burrell's kind of cheesy at times.
I don't really
but he's playing a character. He's clearly playing like the dickhead that everybody hates or something. But then like kind of doesn't get much. And then the way he dies is kind of weird too because he like climbs out of the bus knowing that there is a zombie outside.
Yeah. And then he's getting bled on, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And it's like, dude, what else could it have been?
And then he looks up, and he's got so much time,
and he's doing this. He puts his arms in the air,
and then like the zombie jumps on him. It's like you could have easily looked up, like the zombie like run away, or like pointed the gun that you made up like a point of putting into your pants, and then you pull out so you have it in your hands.
Yeah.
That was weird. There was that I think is my biggest problem with this movie is that there was weird character design things that they make in this, or decisions rather. The gunshots, they're all really good shooters all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You said before we started that like a bunch of them all of a sudden know metal fabrication. Like CJ is a security guard.
Yeah.
And like he's like kind of handy. Like they kind of hint at him being handy, but like welding and shit. Like and like all of them are all of a sudden doing it. It's
because they have these buses and they're trying to like outfit them so that they can drive then to the marina, which is like the whole plan. Which Steve has a boat. So they're trying to get to the marina to use his boat to get to some island. But then they're like, oh, we'll just outfit the buses in the parking garage, and then it's like a montage of them like welding and like grinding stuff, and it's like, what? How did all of them know how to do this? And then like he's like passing a ratchet to her, and she's like clamping something down. It's like
also, but at the same time, like they were in such a time crunch too, because like clearly the zombies were getting in, and like that was kind of why they made the decision to be like, hey, we gotta go, But how long did that take?
I don't know.
It must have taken. Like it looks like it took a long time. Like I don't understand how long this was, but like it seems like it was so long, like a week of them fabricating all this, like this bus to be this sort of outfitted, like indestructible transportation, and like it really makes it look like it happened like a day.
It does, because like even them like taking all the seats out and stuff, and how quickly they do that. But it's like I know that malls in the States are different than here. But like, there was a hardware store in this mall. Is that where they got all that stuff? Because then they were like, that's how they got all the paint too.
It looked like some of it came from like the basement. Like they had like just extra shit, like it's storage, But then some of it wasn't. Like I do think they had some. They do make it look like a giant ass mall. So like, it's a very like there could have been.
Because there's multiple levels, and they were talking about like the Metropolis level or something.
I don't get how there was not more people in it.
I don't know. Yeah,
but you don't know how long she was passed out for as well.
Yes, that's true.
And so like that could have been a while, and like if she was passed out for a while, then maybe like all of this stuff would have happened. So maybe they cleared out the mall. Like who knows? There wasn't a lot of evidence that there was even anything in the mall, because like. When they find that blood in the parking, when they were like going through the tunnels and stuff like that, they're like shocked that there was even blood in there. But I mean, there's literally a zombie apocalypse going on.
But that was the thing that I was saying when I was watching it, was like, they seem so surprised by everything, and it's it's like this zombie apocalypse thing, but like it's like seeing the blood, and he's like, oh, that's a lot of blood. It's like, but man, like. Didn't you see what you guys were all standing on the roof looking down at like the thousands of zombies that are out there, and you're all surprised that there's like maybe one or two in the parking garage? I didn't quite understand that. It was like they seem to be just shocked by everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I understand that like it's all happening very fast, but like still, it's like you've already seen this. You've come to terms with it because they make it seem like they're in the mall for like a while. You know, they show that montage of them fucking around and like
literally.
Yeah, literally. And then they sort of like are talking to the guy. They're playing games with that guy across the road, and and then they go into the parking garage, and it's like, oh my god, there's, and then he sees the dog, and it's like, how long has that dog been down there for?
Yeah, surviving.
And he's fine. Yeah. The dog's fine, and he
comes
running over.
Unless there was a group living down there. Yeah, maybe. And maybe they were trying to get in because they also like don't get very far. Like they go down there and they hear the dog or they see something moving around.
Yeah. One jumps on the other guy.
And one jumps on the other guy.
Bart
and
they
just
his name
leave.
is.
So like there could have been people living down there, and that's why the dog was there and stuff like that. But you don't know, and it's like not really explained. There's like a lot of things. This movie is at its core like really kind of self-contained, but then I think the parts where it kind of falls down is like when it kind of goes beyond that like a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
I like the idea that like they are all coming from different places, or they're all like going to different places, and the place that they're all going to, somebody else has come from, and they're like, it's fucked.
Yeah.
But we're going here, and they're like, we just came from there. It's fucked.
Yeah.
I like that because like that happens in like Walking Dead and all these other zombie shows, is that a rumor starts as somewhere safe, and it spreads, and then somebody eventually is like, "Oh, I actually came from there." And
because then Steve's like, "Oh, some fuckhead was telling us that this place was safe, and then it wasn't. So then we came back or whatever."
Yeah. So like, I like that. I like that aspect of it because it's believable that like something like that would happen.
For sure.
Sort of like safe zone, like the island that they were talking about. Like you didn't. Well, like at the end of the movie, there's like this montage of them approaching the island, and it's like found footage type stuff. And so they get to the island, dog takes off, and the second the dog takes off, like zombies overrun the boat.
Sure.
So like the second that they even get to the island,
it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, is that like it looks like they have hope. Yeah, it just comes in like checks and then he leaves. Yeah. But there's like hope, and then there's not. So like that's why I like, in a sense, like zombie movies, but I guess like the benefit that this one has is that it is so like early in the zeitgeist that was zombie movies. For sure, too. Like, because this one came out in
2002 or 2004. I can't remember now what I saw. I think this one has it.
Is this a remake of the
was it George Romero one?
The one from '79.
Yeah.
It is a remake. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, and I saw some review that said that it's less of a remake and more of a cover. In the sense that like they're like, we just wanted to take the idea of that movie and like make his own version of it, using the same sort of ideas. I think this one has a lot of the thing that really frustrated me with Walking Dead,
which is what
it gets so stale so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, I think that's the thing, is that like unless you introduce like other humans as the threat, the threat doesn't change. So you get so bored of the same, like it becomes predictable. Like you know what's gonna happen. Like, and unless the risk is super high, like unless the zombies have some super ability where they can like run faster than you or something like that, unless it's easy to predict as things kind of go on. Like when they're in the bus and they have that one zombie left. And the reason the bus overturns is because the two humans like fuck up.
Yeah.
And that I think is more interesting, that stuff like that can happen.
But even like the bit, and since you like what you're saying is in the beginning when they get to the mall and the three security guards, CJ, Bart, and Terry, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Are like being fuckheads, and like, they like put them in that one room, and then they like lock the door behind them, so they're like stuck in there because they don't trust them, and then they come out and they're like always pointing guns at them and stuff. And it's like that's way more interesting because these guys are like unpredictable. It's tough to figure out, but then they just make it easy because then he's like, well, I need your help to go down into that place because I don't know anything about it. And they're like, okay, fine, go down there, and then CJ's good again because then Bart dies.
And then all of a sudden,
and then CJ's fine. It's like, well, that's not interesting because then he turns so quickly. Yeah, he's fine now.
The bit about the guy who has the kid. I forgot what his name is now. Andre,
yeah.
Andre and Luda. And, like, he turns because of the kid. And, like, that was interesting. But, like, that would have been way more interesting if it was, like, a longer sequence.
Yeah.
But it happens so fast. Like,
it happens in the background.
Yeah. Like, the old lady shoots Luda. And then immediately it's just, like,
and then Andre's, like, shooting her, yeah.
But it would have been way more interesting if that was, like, way more tense. Like, it was, like, more threatening or whatever it was. Instead, like, she just, like... And again, the old lady hits her, like, first shot in the head. And it's, like, you don't know how far away they are, but, like... And I've never shot a gun, but, like, and it seems like it'd be pretty hard.
She's doing, like, the funniest little stance holding the gun. And then, like you said, like, immediately nails her in the head. Yeah. But, like, all that stuff happens in the background. Like, they ask her or him, because he comes by, and she's like, oh, how's she doing? He's like, fine. And they're like, okay, do you want any help? No. Yeah. It's like, okay. And then they just, like, kind of give up on it.
Even when they hear the gunshots, they kind of just, like, they're all doing, like, the thing where they're, like, looking in their same direction.
Yeah.
And, like, would you not be concerned why there was multiple gunshots?
Yeah.
Like, you guys are the only people in here.
Yeah, you'd be immediately running over there to see what was going on.
So, like, stuff like that was really weird. I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, meh.
This movie is very, like, it's...
So, yeah, go ahead.
It's just, like, I don't know. It's very slow, and then interesting things happen, and then it's so slow for such a long time. Yeah. The action in between all of these sequences is so small.
Yeah.
Like, even the bit where they're trying to figure out how to help the guy across the road.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he's like, this guy has been like, they're like, oh, he's a great shot. You're like, he would be really helpful to have with us when we go to the island. So they're trying to figure it out. But then he's like, obviously has no food. So you can see him like withering away. Yeah. And then she just like, they send the dog over, which I was like, oh, great idea. Super good idea.
Yeah.
And then he fucks up like closing the door, and it's like,
and they get in.
If you had this much time,
you think you would have done
plan it all out? You'd be like, okay, I got to be really fast about this. They're not going to go after the dog, so I got to be quiet. So like, lift it up, pull the dog in, shut it as fast as possible, or have a backup plan. Like you have like a 2-door system or something like that, so you like can open that one and then let the dog in. If somebody else comes in, then you can still like get through the other one. Yeah,
I like that the bit where he gets bitten. Like Andy gets bitten, and then they are like contemplating whether or not to tell him about the bite because they came to that conclusion. Like they figured that out from that one woman.
Yeah,
like the like bloated looking lady.
Yeah,
and so they knew that like if you get bitten, that's it. Like game over.
But if you don't get bitten, because then they figured that out with Andre's like. Because they were like, oh, the old lady's going to come back. And she's like, she didn't get bitten. And they were like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so, like, I like that Andy wouldn't have known that. So he was like, oh, I'm okay. But, like, yeah, it's a lot of blood.
Man, they really bite hard or whatever. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, that to me was believable in the sense that, like, but then him holding the sign that was just covered in blood, I was like, wait, so are they, like, do they have brain function? Because there was the woman who holds up the propane tank.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But then, even before that, when they're running through the sewers and they're trying to come up, they all stop at the bottom of the stairs, and they're like kind of preparing themselves or whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay, so they know that they're like going to get shot or whatever.
But then there's other times where they're just like mindless, like Andy was like literally banging his head against the door.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like there's bits like that where I'm like, it's not consistent.
No.
But a lot of this movie is like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I think this was the second James Gunn movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it feels like an early James Gunn movie?
No, I think it feels like Zach Snyder.
Because, like, Zach Snyder directs this. Yes. James Gunn wrote. Like, James Gunn is the writer on this movie. Yes. Like, he got hired initially as the writer. Yeah. And then others had their sort of, like, way with it. I agree with you, though. It doesn't feel like a mid 2010 plus Zack Snyder movie, but it does feel like a Zack Snyder movie. Like there are certain scenes, certain decisions where you're like, okay, like there's some action sequences that are cool. There are a lot that don't make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I think there's a lot of this movie that
It's more a Zack Snyder movie than a James Gunn movie.
Because it has all the trimmings of a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
like the very like monotone sort of feel to it, and then even like the 35 millimeter thing, like there was like bits where, did you notice that, like the film grain?
Yeah,
I noticed it really early
at
on.
the end too.
Yeah, really early on I noticed it. Right when they get into the mall, I was like, what is happening with this? And then I was like, oh, he's like filmed this on film. Yeah, right.
It does look cool, but like
It's
it
a
also
good-looking
kind of
movie.
it also makes it look like a B movie though.
It does, and I
think,
I think what you said earlier, just on this about it being like an indie movie or having that feel of an indie movie, where it even has like almost like a limited budget.
Yeah,
I think I was saying to George earlier when I was talking to her about it, it feels like a Zack Snyder B movie.
Yeah,
like has that like very almost like curated feel of like a B horror movie. Like it almost seems like he purposely made this movie as if to be this like kind of low budget horror movie.
It is like a relatively low budget too. It's like 25 million, which is like I think is what I just read. I might be wrong though.
But it definitely has that feel to it. I think for sure. I think a lot of it with like the a lot of like no name actors. I'm not really sure what Ving Rhames would have done before this.
26 million it looks like.
Or even, I mean, Ty Burrell was a nobody before that anyway. So
yeah, that's what I was trying. I was explaining that to like Kaylee because she also watched it with us or me, and yeah, like it was one of his early things, which would have been weird because like he gets cast as the douchebag in this.
Yes,
and like that is not a character he plays.
Yeah,
like at all.
In fact, I think. I had read before too that he's like, as a person, is pretty well known for being a very nice person.
Yeah,
a very nice guy.
He seemed very nice.
I'm actually gonna look at what Ty Burrell was in it before this.
It's very interesting.
It is really interesting. But okay, so is there anything else you want?
I was just gonna say the tone of it really reminds me of pre-Walking Dead. I was gonna look up sort of when both of them had come out, because I think Walking Dead, in terms of how it's filmed and maybe even like how it's made and the acting decisions behind that too. Obviously, it's based off of a book series, but it has a lot of very similar feels to it.
Yeah. Okay, so Ty Burrell was in Black Hawk Down before this.
That's right.
So
I always forget that.
Yeah, he was in Black Hawk Down in 2001, and then this came out in 2004, and then he was just kind of in like a bunch of random stuff. He was in a Law and Order episode. He was in West Wing for an episode, SVU, like a bunch of just like random bit spots in TV shows. And then he was in Out of Practice, which is a TV show that I think he was like a main character in.
Interesting.
But it only ran for a season. And then he was in Back to You, which also ran for a season. And then in 2009, he gets Phil Dumpy, which ran for like 10 seasons or whatever.
Oh, yeah. It's not still on, is it?
No. No, I don't. I think it's done now. Or I have no idea, to be honest.
I have no idea.
But the point is that, like, yeah, it's weird to see somebody like him who clearly had to go through another like 10 years of grinding through movies and TV shows before he gets the big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed. I had it like built in my head because I think I've only seen bits of it. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is going to be sick because it's going to be like early before like zombie movies were overdone. Yeah. But
I think I've seen it before. I think I remember watching it for a class like 6-7 years ago or something. Yeah. Because that opening, the credit scene sequence where he has it to Johnny Cash. Yeah. That's such a Zack Snyder thing too. Yeah. Like, to have it to like
a lot. I think you're right. There's a lot of bits of this where it's like very Zack Snyder. The opening bit.
It's very pre him, like him sort of like, because I mean, I don't even know
with some of the stuff. Yeah, but then he all of a sudden switches to like weird extra. Like he goes into 300, right? Like
that's right.
Because 300, I think, is way more his style than this ever was.
I mean, it's much more stylized than anything.
And I think, but that's what he's known for. This is
his first movie.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So it goes Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, Legend of the Guardians, which I have seen, Sucker Punch, Man of Steel.
Sucker Punch is another one that's fairly similar in that stylized.
And Batman, Superman.
Stylized.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think
Army of the Dead, which I haven't seen.
No, I haven't either.
That's funny.
So what would you give this?
Man, I don't know.
I think like 2 out of 7.
Yeah,
because I do think that there's bits in this where I did like it, and it was like an interesting zombie action movie. But then there's bits where I'm like, you know what, 1 out of 7. As I was saying that, I was like, it's not. No,
I didn't like it, honestly.
No.
I don't think I'll watch this again. I probably won't even think about it after this. Like, to me, it was just boring.
Yeah.
There was really nothing going on. And then, like,
so what would you give it then?
Yeah, 1 out of 7.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
I think the only thing I liked about it was the stylistic decisions. So, like, it being 35 millimeter, having that sort of like grain to it.
Yeah,
I think, and then having it. I don't even know if that was on purpose or not. I mean, it's his first movie, so maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Of it being this like kind of B horror feel to it.
Yeah.
I did like that aspect of it. I think the movie itself is not very good.
No.
I think as I was watching it too, the totally over ham-fisted religious symbolism that Zack Snyder tries to wedge into every fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's in this.
It is
for sure.
It is in a very like I'm not even trying to hide it type way. Like
the first zombie that they talk about, how he's like, oh, this guy got a bite mark or something, and then he's been, at Anna in the beginning of the hospital. They're like, oh, do you have a name for him? And it was like something like Richard Solomon. And then she's like, oh, sorry, it was backwards. His name's Solomon Richard. I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, but
that's the name of it.
There's the bit later where the CJ's watching TV.
Yes.
And so when that was showing, I thought like, okay, they haven't really painted CJ as like the nicest, empathetic, brightest guy. Maybe he's going to get turned by this TV thing. And I was like, that would be sick. Like, it'd be great if he all of a sudden was like, you know what? It's because of you douchebags that are like, this is the reason. So maybe I'll get rid of you guys. Yeah. And they turn on him. And then they just show it on TV and he's just blankly watching it. Yeah. And nothing comes out of it.
Yeah. He doesn't even really seem to be taking it in.
No, he's just
sort of watching it. And I had the exact same thing. I was like, well, they have Andre and Luda.
Yeah. Who are potentially out of wedlock. We don't really know.
Potentially out of wedlock. Yeah. And then they have the organ player who comes in who says he's gay.
And Steve.
So
they were like setting it up.
They were setting it up, but then nothing happens with it. In fact, he goes the opposite direction and he seems to have...
Like he becomes more empathetic and he becomes like he wants to help them and take care of them. He even sacrifices himself at the end.
Well, and then even when his friend Bart is like he's like scared and it shows him like getting overrun by him and he's like asking to be shot and he's like, he just does it right away and he's like, well, yeah, I mean that if anything that shows that he has empathy for his friend there too. Like, but man, like even the little baby, him holding the baby and it's like this like zombie baby and it's like, what the fuck is like? It's just, and Zack Snyder gets that a lot. Like you read on Twitter and stuff that how like he really doesn't care about hiding that kind of stuff. He wants it to be obvious and stuff. but man, like it just
and it like doesn't take away from my enjoyment. It's just kind of like you just roll your eyes.
Oh yeah, it's a
it's
total
not,
like
because it's not well done in this case, and like it's not subtle. So like you're kind of just forced to look at it type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the first James Gunn movie we did? I don't remember now.
Suicide Squad.
Right.
Yeah.
So out of the two of them, which do you like better?
Suicide Squad for sure. Yeah.
So I've seen. So I guess like we can talk about like what we'll do next.
Yeah.
I've seen Shang-Chi.
Okay.
So we could do that.
Yeah, I want to see it. Georgia wants to see it too. I think she might be.
There are like other movies coming out too. So like I know James Bond is coming up, so we could do another Daniel Craig or something like that.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Maybe what's the one? Knives Out. I think we've reviewed already, but I don't think we've reviewed any other James Bond movies.
No.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He was also in.
That's a great one.
We could do Ryan Johnson.
What was that other one that he was in that we the Soderbergh one? Did we ever do that?
Yeah, I think we did. Logan Lucky. I think we did. Or maybe, I don't know actually.
I don't know actually.
But yeah, there's a bunch. So we could do something like that. We could do Shang-Chi and like something with Awkwafina even, because she's in a bunch of stuff that's been really well reviewed. I think something fun would be a really good idea. But maybe we'll post something on Twitter and we'll see what people say.
Yeah, I'd like to see Shang-Chi. I want to see that. I think I'll see it regardless.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it. So, but yeah, fuck. I was excited actually about watching this.
Yeah, I was too. Like I said, but
I kind of because George and I were gonna watch it last night, and we watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And we both kind of went, oh no, like.
Yeah.
The trailer doesn't paint it very good light, and even
I didn't
like
watch
the
the
little
trailer.
sample,
I try not to watch it. Yeah.
The little sample video that they have on Prime.
Yeah.
When you go to watch it, that doesn't really help very much if you're trying to figure out if you want to watch it or not. I would say maybe watch the original one, which I have not seen. I can only assume that it's better than this.
Yeah.
Because this is not very good, I would say. Yeah, I just didn't like it. I just thought it was boring. That's it. Maybe that's all it was. It was just boring. Yeah. I could have watched something else, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, I think. Fuck. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll maybe do like another Zack Snyder eventually or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
He's like not really.
He's such
an Army of the Dead, but then like.
Yeah. He's such an interesting guy to talk about too.
I'm good with like not seeing another zombie movie for a bit too.
Sure.
Like, this was just so like
Yeah.
But maybe again like if you have a suggestion for somebody, a movie that's coming out that you'd like us to review, like
or talk about or whatever.
Talk about. DM us on Instagram, tag us in something, tag us on Twitter, email us at twinspeakspod@gmail.com.
Yep.
But yeah,
I know we said it last time.
But we are planning to do this weekly.
Yes.
We
didn't really
there was
work
a lot
out
of stuff going on.
Had a lot of shit going on, but this
Tuesday release or something like that. So
yeah, we're shooting for Tuesday mornings. So keep an eye on that kind of stuff. This is a bit of a shorter one, but really, there's not much else to say about this movie.
Yeah. We had a bunch of downloads. I think. Sorry, not to. I'm totally done talking about this movie.
Yeah, me too.
We had a ton of downloads for this last episode that we did, so appreciate that. If people are like sharing,
yeah, that's great. It's really cool to see.
Really exciting.
Because we were kind of on the fence
not
about
doing it for a long time, so
yeah, we were kind of not sure if we were even going to do it again.
Yeah,
we kind of had just not really had. I mean, because of COVID mostly, but
so, yeah. If you've made it this far, you heard us talk about dicks.
You're a real one.
Yeah. Anyways,
cool. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.